Hello and welcome to our third webinar in Synergy's inaugural M&E Webinar Series. My name is Lilit Kasparyan, Senior Project Manager from Synergy. Special welcome to our audience that is joining us already third time, and of course, warm welcome to our newcomers. Before we begin, let me give our newcomers a brief recap. Synergy is a global company working with over 70 countries across the globe, providing industry-leading strategy execution and M&E solutions to public sector and non-government organizations. We have recently launched this series of webinars where we create a platform to share knowledge and to learn within the global M&E community. And today, as part of that webinar, we are going to discuss on how technology can help your organization to measure your project and program effectiveness and overall organizational performance. Our main speaker today, Emilia Hachatran, M&E Program Director, will walk us through the key Indicata features that you need in order to implement an M&E plan within your organization. It is designed for non-IT users and blends ease of use together with sophisticated analytics and reporting tools. After the brief demo, we have our guest speakers from Agra, Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, who will talk about their unique journey with Indicata and how it helped them streamline their processes. Our guest speakers today are Eunice Kagirinde, Senior Grant Officer, and Josephine Zhao, Associate M&E Officer. We will have a Q&A session at the end, so please, during the whole duration of the webinar, feel free to submit the questions via the chat box. We are going to try to answer to as many questions as possible, and for the ones that we will not manage to answer, we will get back to you in writing after the webinar. A few rules to note. So as mentioned, we are going to mute your mics to avoid noise, and we kindly encourage you to disable your videos to save bandwidth. As you've also noted, we have simultaneous interpretation in Arabic, so you can select to go to the Arabic room to be able to hear the presentation in Arabic. Well, I guess we can already start. Emilia, I greet you again. Please, the floor is yours. Take us through the features.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Lilith. This webinar aims to demonstrate the Synergy Indicata tool that supports the development and initiation of the monitoring and evaluation systems. Today, I'm going to demonstrate how to use Synergy Indicata to measure and evaluate your programs and projects and analyze the data to make a conclusion about your organization's performance. However, before starting, I want to give you an overall understanding on how to demo will progress today. Let me share my screen. Please confirm that you can see my screen, Lilith.
Yes, your screen is visible, Emilia.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is our today's roadmap. After the introduction, I will go to the Indicata login page and I will log in as a program director with a program director role in order to manage and to see the achievements of my programs, then to check what are the result frameworks that each my program has, what are the results and achievements of each. Then I will go to the indicators section. I will try to add some new indicators for measuring those programs' results. After which, I will fill into the IPTT, Indicator Progress Tracking Table, in order to see how the data can be collected and how the achievement, which is actual against target, can be calculated. After that, I will drill down from the programs to the projects that are implemented under my programs for the contribution of the results of that program. I will go to the project implementation plan And I will try to demonstrate some other project knowledge areas such as HR, procurement, beneficiary management, etc. After this, I will navigate to the analytics, the Indicata's main advantageal section, where I can demonstrate, where I will demonstrate you how the data can be bottom-up aggregated and how it can be sliced and diced into smaller pieces for doing conclusion about your data. After the analytics, I will log into the Indicata as an administrator with a power user in order to demonstrate you that how each part of the system can be configured and amended without any coding. After which I will go to the Indicata Workflow Designer to demonstrate you how organizations' business processes can be configured. Then I will go into the Security User Management section, after which I will demonstrate the Data Entry Form Designer to show you how the data entry templates can be designed, amended, or new fields can be added or removed. Then I will go to the monitoring and evaluation administration sections to show you how the corporate framework, indicators, disaggregations, or data points can be administered. And if there will be additional time, I will try to show other administration sections. And that, I guess by that, I will finalize my demonstration. So this is our outline for today. Now let me go to the Indicata login page. Here it is. So right now I'm in a landing page of the Synergy Indicata. You can see that it is a web-based system which can be hosted both in cloud and on premises. I can log in through the system through the credentials, which mean that system is protected and each user has specific set of permissions to have access to the resources and the modules of the system. Indicata can be integrated with any organization Active Directory, and there is a possibility for the single sign-on functionality. But as was planned for this demo, I will log in in the beginning, I will log in as a programs director to measure my program. So this user has the program director permissions. So here it is. I'm logging into the workspace of my programs, and I'm logged in as a program director. Okay, this is my credentials. So in this workspace, you can see 7 programs. This demo is configured for the organization ABC. This is my organization as a program director, let's assume. And for this organization is working for the following 7 programs. Let me dive into the public health program and check what's going on there. Okay, you can see that I'm in a view mode. So because I have granted with the permission to be able to edit my programs as a program director. So I can see the edit button, I can hit on it, and I will go into the data entry screen of my program. So in the first general information, you can see several fields of my program. You can see that the system is supporting multilinguality. Specific for this demo, we have configured only 2 languages, English and Arabic. Let me switch so you can see that it is supporting the Arabic language. We have done it only to be Arabic just to show you that right to left functionality is supported, but as many languages as will be required, it is possible to configure. Okay, let me move to the result framework tab. And here let's check what are the main goals of my public health program that we aiming to achieve. So the first one is increased access to medication and vaccination. And the second one is raised awareness and self-examination. Okay, if I will expand the first goal, I can see here my two indicators that we have decided with my middle officer to register under the first goal in order to calculate the achievement for my first goal. Then underneath, under the goal, we have designed two objectives. 1.1 objective, which is procurement of necessary medication amounts, and the second one is the reduced rate of infection and acquired diseases. My goal was to log into the system in order to add one more outcome under objective 1.2, which is reduced rate of infection and acquired diseases. Here I have some mortality rate outcomes, but on top of these two, I would like also to add the third one, which is prevent premature death and disability. So for doing that, I need to hit the add button here, this plus button, and there is the option to add outcome. I'll hit on it and I will type the name of my outcome. Prevent premature death and disability. I'll just copy it into Arabic. And here is my third outcome. Now I wanted to start to add indicators to my outcome in order to measure it. I can either add indicator from the existing list that I have designed with my middle officer. You can see here that we have around 250 indicators. Okay, let me select another one before creation. Number of, let's see if the vaccination. Okay, number of people vaccinated. Let me select this one. Okay, so I have added this indicator, number of people who needs to be calculated, how many people have been vaccinated. In order to fill the data for those people, I need to hit on the indicator. Then I will be navigated to the indicator progress tracking table, the IPTT, where I will be able to fill my data. Okay, here we can see that we have for this specific indicator, we have disaggregation by age, and the target is specified on quarterly basis. Just let me fill for a couple of fields. Okay, let's assume that overall I'm aiming to vaccinate around 1,800 people. And let's assume that I have already done the vaccination and now I'm filling the real actual figures. So under the 15 years old people, we have vaccinated around 300 people, 400 for the middle-aged people, and for all adults, let's assume we have vaccinated around 400. Okay, if I will hit the 7 close button, here is my overall achievement of the indicator that can measure also my outcome. If I will expand the list of other results indicators, you can see that all this data already have been filled for several indicators. Here I see the overall result, but in case I would like to see how things going per year, for example, for 2018, 19, and let's say also for this current year. Okay, we can see now per year the achievements. For example, we can see that for 2021, number of patients receiving vaccinations, we have exceeded our target for this year only, but overall we are still in progress with 52%. Let me now leave this page and let me go and see those projects that are contributing to my public health program. Let me see who are they. Okay, I can see that there are 10 projects underneath of the public health. Here are those projects that I can open. you can see that the filter was applied, but let me just reset the filter and to see overall how many projects I have in my portfolio. So there are 55 projects under all my 7 programs. Okay, let me open, for example, this one, Sub-Saharan Global. Let me check, what is this? I guess this is in agriculture, under the agriculture program. Yeah, so this is the overview of my project. Here you can see like general information about my project, that it is capturing some fields such as name, organization, dates, duration, description, location, sectors. So this is the general information of my project. Then there is another module of the my project is the log frame or result framework of my project, very similar to the program result framework that we have just seen. I'll skip it for the sake of the time. The another block is the project implementation plan. Let's dive in and see what activities we have there for the implementation of this project. Okay, this is the high-level list of my activities. For example, this one is facilitate farmers access to the finance services. Okay, I have the duration. I have only 33% of the progress. I have assign a person, and here in the left side, I have my Gantt chart to see my activities duration, planned versus actual one. Here I can expand the filter, apply different type of filters to find those specific activities that I'm looking for. I don't know, in case I wanted to see my timeline, my Gantt chart through day, week, or month. Just again, for the sake of the time, I will not go into the details of other modules, such as HR management, beneficiary project procurement. These all are knowledge areas of the project that my project managers under my program are managing this block, each of them for their programs. Right now, I will leave this page and I will navigate into the analytics. So to go back to our roadmap, so I have talked about projects, I have talked about project implementation plan, about the other modules. Now I'm going to navigate to the analytics. Okay. So for doing that, here in my left navigation panel, you can see the analytics. There are several dashboards, predefined reports here. Let me dive into my organization overview dashboard to see all the summary information, bottom-up aggregated in my dashboard. Okay, so what we can see here, that we have 7 programs with 55 projects distributed by these programs. The overall total budget of my organization, ABC, is around 99 million. We have registered around 18,000 beneficiaries, but those beneficiaries, they are just registered. This doesn't not mean that all of them directly benefiting from my projects. In order to count number of beneficiaries per program or per project, we will dive into the program or project level. Okay, next chart is demonstrating you the projects by my programs. And here we can see that the outweighting program is the sustainable agriculture with 25% portion. Next is coming finance, then social protection, then public health, and etc. In the below, we have several speedometer charts, which are showing us the progress of each 7 program. So by looking to these speedometer charts, I see that the best program achievement that we have is in equal access to education, around 92% achievement. Very nice result. While in finance, the figures are not very good. We will dive in to find out the reasons. So this area chart is demonstrating the budget, organization budget distribution on yearly basis. This bar chart is demonstrating me my projects distribution across several organizations. I can see that the top organization is the World Bank, the funding organization, with the amount of 32 million US dollar commitment and with $20 million disbursed. Next, this is the GIS, where I can see the overall coverage of all my projects. For example, in Ethiopia, if I will click on it, there is a mini summary information. I can see that there are 3 projects around with 43 direct beneficiaries with 5 million total budget. This is aggregated budget for all 3 projects. Total disbursement is 619 and the remaining is this much. Okay, let me from the program from the organization dashboard, drill down to the program level to see what's going on per program. Okay, so for doing that, I will click on the public health program and I will click to go to program overview. Okay. Now system is navigating me to the dashboard of the specific program for the public health program. So meaning that figures here that are now calculating, doing these bottom-up calculations and slicing and dicing the data, this is done specifically for the public health program. So for this program, we have 24 million and out of which 17 is dispersed. Under this program, you might also remember that we have these 10 projects and there are 353 people directly benefiting from these programs. Also, we can see that out of these 353 people, the outweighing part is females. And if we will review by age group, we can see that mostly old adult and children are benefiting from those programs, which should be, yeah, this is normal. And here I can see how many projects I have in each implementation phase or by statuses. So here I can see that there are 3 projects that are under implementation, 2 under setup approved. I have just 1 closed project, 1 is terminated. Okay, this is again total budget yearly distribution. This is my projects by sectors. So yeah, because this is public health program, obviously it should be in general health and basic health. Okay, here we can see those 10 projects under this program with their progresses. Okay, and if I will look into the health system strengthening project in India, I can see that it has the lowest progress, 16%. So I need to find out what's the issue. Why specifically this project is not progressing in a way as it's supposed to be. So for finding out that issue, I will click on project dashboard and I will navigate to the this health system strengthening project in India dashboard, the summary screen. Okay, let us wait system to generate figures specifically for this project. Okay. Okay, we see that there is enough budget, there is enough disbursement. We can see that almost half of it is already disbursed. We can see that most of the cost goes for the services, storage cost. I can see the result framework of my project. Here is the results, but let me check the overall achievement of my project. Here we go. I find out that most of my indicators are not progressing well. I mean the data. So all you can see that all of them are under 30%. So this is one of the reasons why this project is not progressing well. This chart is showing me the human resource level of effort per role. So this is again another indicator showing me that people are not working as was planned. This brown is the actual level of effort. This orange color is the planned one. So I can see that whatever was planned on daily basis, we didn't achieve. Actual figures are not yet there. So another reason why we are not progressing with this project is the different people involvement as was planned initially. Okay, this chart is showing me my project activities progresses by different types. I can see that communication activities are good, trainings, marketing. So on activity in a level, I cannot find out any issue. In terms of beneficiaries, it's okay. But here in a risk, I can see that we have several, catastrophic and major risks. So they are contributed, they are allocated by type, by category. So I have some political risk, environmental, social, and implementation risks. And even I have 2 catastrophic risks, one from the design category, one from the implementation. So this is really a risky project that I need to take attention very closely. Here is the procurement, which is not giving me any hint why things is going wrong. This is my analysis on my project level. Here, let me stop and let me log out from being program director, and let me log in as an administrator as was planned initially. Let me go back to my roadmap. So I'm here. I have finalized the demonstration of analytics. Now I will log in as a system administrator, as a power user, to demonstrate you all the functionalities, I mean the key functionalities as much as I will manage. So I log out and I will log in with the admin credentials. So now you can see that in my left navigation panel, I see under the settings a lot of modules which were not available for the program director user, right? For the program director user, I was able to see only this part.
Emilia, I would just like to ask you to slow down a little because there is a little latency while sharing the screen. So just slow down a little and it's great. Thank you. Okay,
thank you, Lilith. Can you see now I'm logged in?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, thank you very much. So to demonstrate a couple of functionalities, let me go to the business processes. As was promised, I would like to demonstrate you our workflow management, which is business process designer. So we can see that for the project entity, we have designed following business process. You can see that there is no coding. I can very easily define here, add new state in case of need, just provide the name for that state. Or I can define a new action, new transition, let's say from the design, draft design state for the project. I wanted to have also possibility to have option transition to decline project. Just by providing the name of action to transition, I can hit the add button and that's it. This action also will be ready if I will hit the save button. So this is the workflow designer, designed only for the project entity, but this is possible to design for every entity, for the program, for overall project, for any documentation that needs to pass through several processes for the admission, approval, sign off, etc. There are other rules like business and event-based actions that can be also configured in case there is a need to, for example, define some event and send automatic notification in case of from the draft to be moved to the approved project. Let's say some people of the project team members needs to be notified. So this is the event management section. Out of this also, I think it will be very interesting to demonstrate you the form management. This is to show you how I can easily, without coding, change my data entry template. So for doing that, I'm opening my project edit form. So this is the designer. Here in the right side, I can see the possible fields. And in case I just wanted to add, let's say, another comment box in my project data entry template, I can take this description field, just drag and drop it in my screen. I can provide some width to it. I can provide some title to it. Let me call it just a comment. Done. I can have some hint underneath. Okay. And now if I hit the save button, and I will go from this banner, hit the create new project. Now you can see, here is it. You remember, right, that in the beginning, before it was just organization program and underneath it was description. Now I have added also this comment field here. So this is to show how easily I can make my data entry template. Other than this, we have other functionalities like how to manage categories, how to monitor system, how to set up the policies of the system, how to do the bulk data import into the system. By the way, through this bulk import, if there is an offline data and there is a need to it to be imported, you can come to the data import section, you can upload the template, take it offline, fill the data, come back and fill it back. And this is in case of direct data entry, but I would like also to mention that Indicata, based on microservices, and each microservice has its endpoint ready, which is mean that whole system is ready to be integrated with any third party.
Thank you. Thank you, Emilia. Before we go into the questions, it will be very interesting at the right time for us to hear from our guest speakers. So Eunice, Josephine, I hope you are doing fine. Could you please tell us about your unique experience with Indicata and how it helped streamline your organizational processes? Also, please tell us a little about the Alliance, the Agra itself, and about how Indicata helps to overcome challenges. I can see you're sharing your screen. Okay, great. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lilith, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My colleague Josephine and I are delighted to share the experiences of Agra and how Indicata, which Emilia has just been talking about, has helped us as Agra streamline our performance measurement. So maybe the first place is to figure out who is Agra. So Agra is, we like to say we are farmer-centered, we are Africa-led, and we're partnership-driven. We are a non-profit organization that focuses on smallholder farmers in Africa. And we achieve our objectives through making grants to our implementing partners. So over the last about 15 years, we have made over 1,000 grants with interventions that are across the entire agricultural value chain. And we have worked with over 600 organizations across more than 18 countries. And therefore, obviously, with such a huge portfolio, it became apparent for us a few years ago that we were having challenges in managing our data and our reporting. Some of the challenges we had, which I am sure most of you can agree with, was issues such as data quality. That we were not sure the quality of data we were receiving from our partners. Maybe I should mention that Agra works through our partners. We are not direct implementers. So any of our successes are in partnership with our grantees. So we needed to have good data. We needed to be able to aggregate the data that we receive and thereby do analysis, just as Emilia was showing. And we also needed to have a system that can do proper data review and also data presentation. So it is these challenges that led us to seek a robust system, that would support not just the collection of our data, that is our grantees in the field inputting data, but as well as the analysis so that we are then able to report from all our programs across the many countries that I have mentioned. So to do this, this is where Indicata comes in. And I will let Josephine, who is our M&E expert, talk about our experiences with the Indicata system. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Eunice, for that brief. And thank you, Emilia and Lilith. And to pick up from where Eunice has left, it's a brief on, I'll give you a brief on what the experience has been for Agra in using the Indicata system provided by Synergy. This system was we launched our use in 2017. As Eunice mentioned, we had a lot of challenges in data analytics, in having one source of data. As she mentioned, we receive donor parts from different donors, and then we issue what we call retail grants. And you can see since 2006, we have had over 1,000 grants. And since the implementation in 2017, we have been able to achieve several benefits. We were able to improve efficiency in data reporting by our grantees, the review and approval of the submitted reports by the Agra officers. We have also been able to improve on tracking the grantee reporting status and performance on a regular basis, which was not possible before. Data analytics, which is the strong point and what led us to automate the reporting, which was manual then, has been simplified and made accessible to different users in the organization on a timely basis. We are also able to evaluate our grantee performance against expenditure at any given time. The system allows for both performance reporting and expenditure reporting. The system is flexible, and it was therefore able to accommodate our multiple results framework. Agra had the first strategy, which ended in 2016, and we went into a new strategy in 2017 with 2 different results frameworks, and both have been accommodated in the system, and we are able to access data and it from both reporting of the 2 results framework. We are also able to include additional results areas since we are a growing organization that expands implementation areas. The offline module of the system helped us mitigate the challenges of poor internet connectivity experienced in by our implementing partners who are based in the implementation countries, main in the sub-Saharan Africa. We were able to integrate the system with other existing systems, specifically the finance system and the grant database, And this ensured that we did not have to do repetitive data entry at different points for the different systems. The system is quite reliable when it comes to security, and we are assured of our data being safeguarded. And due to the benefits we experienced and the reliable support by the Synergy team, in 2020, a decision was made to now fully automate the grant system end-to-end, which is currently under development. We have planned to launch the enhanced system in August 2021. This will include the automation of the grant making, that is the request for proposals, the submission of the proposals, the review and approval of the funding of those proposals. Then there is inclusion of dynamic reporting by our implementing partners, which will include tracking the activities, milestones to allow for better tracking of the project implementation plans per grant. There is the inclusion of the farmer portal, which captures data for the farmers that we have reached. And we hope that we will use this for sampling purposes during the surveys and studies. We have also included a predefined metric system within the enhanced system to assist us to holistically review our grantee performance, to be able to tell which grants require support and what kind of support at what point. I wish to stop there, and I wish to thank all of you for the time. We are happy to respond to questions or any clarifications, either on chat, or you can reach out through the Synergy team. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Josephine. I'm looking at two questions that are somehow related. So let me read it out. I am interested in seeing how the program tracks qualitative indicators. Some elaboration would be useful. And another question that is similar, maybe we can cover it together. Does the system also support more qualitative evidence, for example, outcome mapping, MSC, outcome harvesting, etc.? So Emilia, would you please help us with those two questions?
Yes, Lilith, sure. Let me again share back my screen. I didn't manage to demonstrate how I can create a new indicator. So please confirm that you can see my screen.
Yes, it is
okay.
visible.
Under the settings, under the M&E settings, there is indicators module. Here I can see all 250 indicators that are in my system. And in case I need to create new one, let me hit this create new indicator button. So here I have options either to select from the existing templates to Easy My Life, or I can go with a blank template. Let me select the blank one. So here there's a indicator context type, quantitative or qualitative. So Indicata is supporting both quantitative and qualitative indicators. And there is a data format. If you are selecting it to be qualitative, quantitative, you can select it to be number. In case you wanted to select it qualitative, you can select it to be text. And the nature that you wanted to collect, the type of the indicator, how frequently you would like to collect your data on annual basis. Let's say it's assumed to collect data on the same, to put targets on annual basis. And then to add some disaggregations, such as, I don't know, if the qualitative data needs to be surveyed per gender or by age. Here you can select the disaggregation. And then if indicator needs to for the collection of data, there is a need to have more than one data point. Let's say, except from the narrative text box, there is also need to have some extra field for justification, source of data, I don't know, rationale for the targets. So you can select, see, there are options, actual number, actual text, for example, and you would, in case there is a need, I can hit the gender, which is mean that whenever I will collect my data, there is a possibility to see that, like have a survey by male and female separately. So this is how to create the qualitative indicators. And what was the second question?
Yeah, sorry, can you also hear the noise, or is it just me?
It's clear from my end.
Okay. Yeah, so it's on me. Okay, the second question was about outcome harvesting, I think. Does the system also support more qualitative evidence, for example, outcome mapping, outcome harvesting, etc.?
Yes, as I guess I have already answered that question by demonstration of the result frameworks, how the result, different level of results such as impact, outcomes, outputs can be created and added. Maybe I didn't manage to demonstrate how the, let me open one of the project result frameworks and show you how the management of those outcomes can happen through the system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe on a program level. Okay. So if you remember in the beginning, I'm again back to my public health program. There are two goals. You can see underneath there is objectives and outcomes. But if I will go to the managed framework design screen, you can see here that the level of my frameworks, which I can amend, for example, change from outcome to ultimate outcome. I can define other settings of the indicator in case there is a need to add another level, let's say the output for collecting the output results, I mean narrative results, in order to see the overall contribution of those outputs on the ultimate outcome level. By this way, I can change the structure of my framework by hitting add button. So you can see that instead of outcome, now we have ultimate outcome, and now I can hit the add button and add another level for the output.
Thank you. While we are doing that, we have also another question that while we're sharing the screen, maybe it will be helpful. It says, Emilia talked about entering the system with different user accounts. How Indicata ensures that different role privileges are limited to their area of business? So maybe at the next question, you can take it to that one.
Yes, thank you. Actually, I was planned to demonstrate Indicata's user management security section, because I think this is really one of the most advantages, I would say, the beauty of the system, because on terms of security, this Indicata is really very powerful. Under security, you can see how the organization organogram can be defined, how the list of users can be managed, what type of roles we can have, and how we can group people, I mean users, into different groups in order to provide bulk permissions instead of one by one. So this is the list of groups, but permissions are set up on the roles basis. So if I will go roles, you will see here a different type of 16 roles exist in my system. For example, if I will go to the mill officer, okay, here we can see to which navigation sections this role of people should have access, what access rights they can have into different sections of the system, what policies, to which workflow actions they can have access, and to which data security they can have access on the entity level. For example, this is my entities. I can define that mill officers can just view and edit all the entities, but they cannot delete or add any new one. Even more, there is a possibility to provide permissions on the field level. Look, I have provided permission to this mill officer to have access to the whole project entity, but I can even define whether to have access on the, for example, description. Mill officer can view description, but he or she shouldn't be able to edit it. Moreover, we can define that per workflow phase, I mean per project state. For example, if I know that my project still is in a draft state, then it's fine to allow mill officers to be able to edit all the fields. However, as soon as my project will move to the setup approved phase, so mill officers can only view all these fields. They shouldn't be able to edit any of the field of the project. So I have demonstrated you the security part of the Indicata, which is both based on ABAC, attribute-based permissions, and RBAC, which is role-based permissions. There are other details. I will just skip it.
Okay, thank you, Emilia. Since we're short of time, but let us maybe take two more questions. So the next question goes, how does the system help in easing process of M&E plan implementations in international organization, where the system has to be adopted centrally at Geneva to be adopted by other field offices? If one wants to use it for personal use only to better monitor project work, how safe is the data? So we've already checked how safe is the data part. So maybe if you also give some feedback on the first part of the question. So where we're adopting it centrally and then we have field offices.
Yeah, as I have mentioned in the beginning, the system is configured specifically for the simple program project management. And you can see that each project goes under the program, like there is a hierarchical leveling. Exactly the same way we can have this leveling on the by countries, I mean by country offices. And the level of the permissions and privileges can be defined as was defined from the program to project level, and that can be defined from country office to the field level office. And in terms of permissions and the security, I have shown you how this can be managed through the security part. But on top of this, I would like to highlight how secure is the Indicata. It's not only through these backend validations, all the stuff that we have here, we can also encrypt data on different levels, such as on the database table level, on a column level, on also the disk, I mean, server level. This depends on the requirements of the client, whether there is a sensitive data and there is a need to have this type of security, we can implement those.
Thank you. I changed microphones. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. We've had another question about the data collection and whether it can be integrated with other systems like Kobo. So the answer to that would be yes, that there can be different modes of data collection and inputting indicator data in the system. Of course, the manual one that can be inputted directly into the system. Then import from other files like Excel, for example, and the system provides APIs to be integrated with other tools like Kobo or ODK or others. I guess we have time for one more question. Let me see. We have one more question about, can the system be used offline by several people from the field staff and be able to submit when connected to internet. So Emilia, maybe you can tell a bit about the offline possibilities. So the same question continues. Do you provide admin rights to the project staff, or Synergy manage everything? Who does first data entry?
I was not clear with the second question, but for the offline, let me first answer to it. As you have seen, the system is quite complex, and it's huge, and it is based on microservices, which architecture is quite comprehensive, and not every mobile or tablets will be able to, in terms of resources, support such system functionality. That is why we are suggesting to our clients to have offline functionality only for the data entry purposes, for the data collection, while for the reporting and other configuration, we are recommending it to be out of the scope for the mobile or for the offline applications. Because that much of data bottom-up aggregation and the technology is quite complicated to be hosted, to be able to be functional on the mobile or offline modules on the desktop for the desktop application. Yes, but for the data entry, the offline module, it is possible to be configured, customized. Depends on the need of the client, customers. We are doing the feasibility study. We are hearing what exactly and what kind of functionality is required to be customized for the offline support.
Thank you, Emilia. I think the second part of the question, maybe Josephine can help us out with. The second part of the question says, basically how you, as Agra that is using Indicata, how do you administer the project without Synergy, having to manage it? So as Indicata being the system that Agra uses.
Oh, okay. Synergy has trained a number of us on the administrator role, and they still provide support, but with that, we are actually able to deal with a lot of issues on the ground. We administer the system from Nairobi, the headquarters of Agra, but Agra has offices outside Nairobi in the different countries where we are implementing. We have trained our staff who are there, led by each country has an M&E officer. And because we already have almost all the rights that we need to be able to implement the system, we are able to address and actually respond and manage the system well. There was a question on how the system uses processes of M&E plan implementation. As you can see, we have a whole set of indicators that are shared by different projects. So since it is indicator-based, the indicators are already sitting, we create the indicators in the system, and then we assign the projects accordingly, depending on what that grant or project is working on. And the M&E officers can monitor from their level, but the data analytics is available for all Agra users, wherever they are. So in case anyone wants to generate any report, they can do so without necessarily coming back to the central team, unless they have certain extra needs that they may not be able to do out of their capacity, but we continuously train our staff on the use of analytics. And it has worked out well for us. Right now, it is what we are using to manage our grant portfolio. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Josephine. Emilia, I can see on your screen you have the audit part. Would you like to add anything on that?
Yes, I have received that question from the, I forgot the name of the owner, whether the system is supporting the auditing of the data. So I was preparing my screen to demonstrate that. Yes, it is. And every action, every save of every entity, system is tracking. I mean, on every save, system is creating another instance, for example, of the project. So to demonstrate you how that can happen, for example, I have from the audit section, I have selected project entity. I have selected specific project, for example, this Nepal finance project. I can see that there are several, like 15 versions of my project. I can see that there is an update by Narek Snow on 3rd of June. And then the last update happened by system administrator on 8th of June. So I am going to hit the compare button and to see the result of my project. I mean, to see how the different is, okay, each version. Here in the left side, you can see the 3rd of June version. On the right side, the 8th, the latest version. And here by red, system is highlighting the differences. So for example, I can see that the name has been changed. I can see that the organization, initially it was just named external organization. Now the real organization was selected to be World Bank. Also from the initiation workflow state, it has been moved to draft state. The other changes that I can see is the budgeting. For example, the total budget, disbursement, and yearly distributions were added on the version of the 8th of June.
So it doesn't only show who updated the data, so to protect against unauthorized data modification, but it also shows us what exactly has been modified so we can track it.
Exactly. And this is not happening only on the project level, but on any entity that system is configured for. For example, for this one, we have configured program, beneficiaries, information, activity, log frame, project implementation, any user. On the user level, we can see who has been changed, user profile, a lot other settings, when and what exact fields has been changed by whom.
Thank you for that. We are actually past our time, so I know that some people are rushing to their other meetings. So dear audience, please, we didn't manage to cover all of the questions, but we are going to gather them and we are going to respond in writing and to distribute the responses to you. As well as we are going to share the recording of this webinar, of the demonstration and the presentation. So since we have established this platform, we can use it further for the discussions, for demonstration of any other functionalities. And we are also launching an initiative of publishing YouTube videos on different functionalities of Indicata. So we are going to share that links with you as well. I want to give say a special thank you for our speakers. For Emilia, thank you for your presentation and demonstration. Thank you for our guest speakers from Agra, to Eunice and Josephine, for your input and your presentation of how Indicata helped in your organization. And of course, thank you for the audience for interesting questions. It was very nice to spend this time with you. We will keep in touch. Thank you and have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.